You know, we see also from the perspective of peace builders that it's very difficult to build peace in a country that has multi-generational conflict, where that percentage of toxic stress is probably even higher. And I'm not sure we have good data on that. Just something that would be good to work with you
something
on.
that we were talking about earlier, but you know, one of the things that, that we've just had to recognize is that our approach to linking development and humanitarian response to peace-building processes has just been terrible. We haven't done it well. And generally speaking, we've thought that development is something that happens after the humanitarian crisis and after peace treaties are signed, as opposed to something that has to happen at the same time.
Amen.
So, you know, the fundamental realization is that refugees are refugees for an average of 17 years now. So these are not short-term problems. And so we're trying to truly fundamentally rethink how we help countries in conflict reestablish the social contract. We're trying to think completely differently about refugees. Can we help refugees start businesses? Can we upgrade dramatically the quality of education for refugees? Can we think differently about states? Right? So Lebanon has and Jordan has a huge percentage of their own population that is now coming from other countries, refugees. What do we do about that? Do we just sit back and say, languish for 17 years? You know, we've just had some great conversations with leaders at the UN General Assembly where we're saying we have to rethink this fundamentally. You know, can we take some lessons? Like, for example, we now know that in Turkey last year, that has done it very differently. They've just sort of let all the Syrians come in and they're integrating into the society. 26% of all new businesses last year in Turkey were started by Syrian refugees. And in the areas where the most Syrian refugees have settled, economic growth has been faster than in other parts of Turkey. Take it a step further. You know, you look at a lot of the advanced economies, and we're just putting out a report on demographics that looks at this. In advanced economies, the elderly population is increasing, the working population is shrinking, the birth rate is declining. So the strategy for those countries is to welcome immigrants. Right?
Or should be.
It should be. Well, the economic strategy we're saying is that's the way it should be. Now, you know, I'm an economic migrant, right? So, you know, we are an economic refugee. We came from Korea in 1964 when Korea was an extremely poor country looking for opportunities. And I have to tell you, at first, I didn't really feel like, you know, I was going to be welcomed as an American. You know, I grew up in Dallas, Texas, and in Iowa. Many people had never seen an Asian person before, so it didn't really feel like I was, you know, going to be integrated into society. But over time, things have changed. And it's been part of the American growth strategy to welcome immigrants and let them become hyphenated Americans. And so I've issued a challenge to my friends in Korea. When will we see the emergence of Syrian Koreans, right, who feel that they're part of Korea? Well, Korea has a huge problem in terms of a shrinking workforce and a reducing birth rate for economic growth. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. Yeah.